When I heard Prime Minister Modi speaking about new education policy and introducing it to different stakeholders, it was such a disappointment to see that there's not even a word which was mentioned about the newness, which is the early learning piece getting introduced to the new education policy. So when we look at new education policy, the now it's full-fledged policy now. Pre-primary education for 3 to 6 year old by 2030, and this provision, to my view, has a very little meaning, because it has failed to talk about extension of RDE Act to 3 to 6 years old and up till 18 years. The access to most marginalized children will be a challenge, and until and unless government comes out with specific programs on plans for them. You have marginal pockets in all states, whether it's of migrant laborers or children on move or children in street situations. But with the principles, the policy which has stated that education is a public service, access to good quality must be considered as a basic right of every child. So universalization, inclusion, and equity, I think, cannot be operationalized without making it a justifiable right and entitlement of any children. If you look at the universal access, I think the other reports and researchers did talk about, if you look at the longitudinal study, they did talk about that 70% of children do have an access to early learning. We are also in the new policy looking at qualified teachers. So you had middle school, high school, and secondary school kind of qualification for the Anganwadi workers. Now we are talking about continuous professional development teachers for early education. And also there's a plan that how will we upgrade the knowledge for, say, who is 10th class pass or 12th class pass, 6 months training or 1 year professional training. When 3 to 6 has come to the fold of formal structure of education, where will the teachers come from? Where is the money to have those teachers? So I come up with all those kind of questions, that what is the plan? There has been a lot of criticism about early learning not getting its due attention in the ICDS system. All that, there should have been some mention of it. However, the NEP proposes, to strengthen system of early childhood education. So intention is there, but when we look at it, it has also created host of layers, because it's potentially understaffed, under-resourced, and government units that they are at times they are jostling with the space during early stages of the policy rollout. Single education department will be split to create a department of school education, a directorate of school education, state school standards. It may result into a lot of turf issues. And with respect to delivery of early learning and ECCE, the national and state commissions for protection of child rights, they have this recommended mandate. Nowhere you don't find mention of that. You don't find mention of RDE Act, because RDE Act is a bigger institution than the policy. So there's no reference made about RDE Act, that whether the RDE Act will get amended to include early years and both upward and downward extension. So there's nothing there. So if you look at all the stakeholders, because the policy also talks about curriculum developed by NCERT. So NCERT, then you have your system, preschool system, because preschool will become part of school, right? So you have whole school as a stakeholder, different NGOs and CSO partners as stakeholders, government itself and there's a bit of integration, convergence of different ministries and departments to promote early learning. I don't see how it will be done, because you're when one is talking about redistribution of role and splitting of roles, how becomes really really important, because across India, states, they struggle to understand their new roles, and how are they going to adjust to it. So state level institutions, national level institutions, all of them will be a stakeholder to this.
Hello everyone. Today I am here to discuss with you about national education policy and how it is going to impact